Hello and welcome to Disney Movie Investigation. If this is your first time watching, welcome to the show. This is our bonus video for the month of November based on votes on our Facebook page. On this episode, we are going to take a look at the DC Cinematic Universe movie Batman and Robin, starring George Cooley. And if you are enjoying these videos, please do hit that subscribe button. That way you will never miss any of our videos. But for now, sit back and enjoy this episode of Disney Movie Investigation. So like I said, we are covering Batman and Robin. This movie was released on June 12th, 1997, and it was directed by Joel Schumacher. It was written by Akiva Goldsmith, and it is based on the Batman characters created by Bob Kane. This movie was produced and distributed by Warner Brothers, and it had a budget of $160 million with a box office return of $238.2 million. But let's take a look at the development. So with the huge success of Batman Forever in June of 1995, Warner Brothers put in an order for an immediate sequel into production. Joel Schumacher and Akiva Goldsmith were hired in August of 1995 to both write and direct the screenplay for production in June of 1997 release. Inspiration for the story came from both the 1960s television series as well as Batman the Animated Series. Val Kilmer, who did play Batman in Batman Forever, declined not to reprise his role as the Caped Crusader, as he had difficulty working with Schumacher on Batman Forever. Potential Batmans that were considered were David Duchovny and William Baldwin, before George Cooley was ultimately given the role. Cooley was doing his television series ER at the time, and so he decided to do both Batman and Forever and ER at the same time, working 7 days a week. For the Mr. Freeze character, Ed Harris, Anthony Hopkins, and Patrick Stewart were all considered before Arnold Schwarzenegger was hired at a salary of $25 million, and his costume alone cost $1.3 million. So in terms of the marketing of this movie, the film trailer debuted on Entertainment Tonight on February 19th, 1997, and Warner Brothers spent $125 million to promote the film, and the studio would often have pre-production meetings where the executives would want to see the designs of the characters, vehicles, and sets in order to create the molds to make the toys based on the movie in time to be released at the similar time. Several Six Flags amusement park attractions were created based on the Batman and Robin movie. Batman and Robin The Chiller opened at Six Flags Great Adventure in 1997, and Mr. Freeze opened at Six Flags Over Texas and Six Flags St. Louis in 1998. Taco Bell featured a promotional campaign that featured collectible cups, along with a contest where the grand prize winner would receive a replica Batmobile. A video game was also released for the PlayStation console in 1997, and finally a junior novel was also released, written by author Alan Grant. So let's take a look at the cast. So we have George Cooley, who plays Batman and Bruce Wayne, Chris O'Donnell, who plays Robin, aka Dick Grayson, Arnold Schwarzenegger, who plays Mr. Freeze, Uma Thurman, who plays Poison Ivy, Alicia Silverstone, who plays Batgirl, Michael Gough plays Alfred Pennyworth, Pat Hingle, who plays Commissioner James Gordon, John Glover, who plays Dr. Jason Woodrow, and Robert Swenson, who plays Bane. So now that we know the characters, let's take a look at the plot. So for quite some time, the dynamic duo of Batman and Robin worked to continue the mission of protecting Gotham City from evil forces. But now the relationship is challenged when they must fight the villainous duo of the icy Mr. Freeze and the venomous Poison Ivy, who seek to freeze Gotham and repopulate it with mutant plants. At the same time, the heroes must also find a cure for their sick butler Alfred, while they also receive some help from the new heroine, Batgirl. So this film was nominated for several Razzie Awards, including Worst Picture, Worst Script, Worst Screen Couple, being Cooley and Chris O'Donnell, and Worst Supporting Actress, Uma Thurman. And it would ultimately win an award for Worst Supporting Actress for Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl. Joel Schumacher was actually hired to write to direct a fifth Batman movie titled Batman Unchained, and the storyline would have focused on the villain, the Scarecrow, and that actor that was hired to play the Scarecrow was actually Coolio. Clooney, Silverstone, Alicia Silverstone, and Chris O'Donnell were all set to reprise their roles, and the film would also feature a second villain being Harley Quinn, and in the script it was actually written that she was Joker's daughter. However, after the negative press and criticisms of Batman and Robin, Clooney vowed never to return as Batman, and then the project was ultimately scrapped. So would I recommend this movie? I think this movie definitely has some good qualities to it. I like the action scenes. It's definitely is a family-friendly version of Batman with a good message towards family. I think where the movie gets a lot of negativity is that the story and how light it is compared to the previous Batman Forever, Batman Returns, and Batman. The movie was right after Batman Forever, which was a darker take on the Batman story, and this movie did have had great performances, but not as memorable as both Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones in Batman Forever. So I think that's what it had going against it. I think Batman and Robin disappointed a lot of fans because of the cheesy lines said by both Arnold and Uma Thurman. And it reminds a lot of people of the 60s television show, which can be either good or bad. The other major problem that I think the movie has is that the inclusion of Batgirl, not the character itself, but the character was kind of shoehorned in to try and create a message of the importance of family. And I just think with Batgirl, it was kind of like it didn't really feel that she had a place in this universe, and it needed more character development. Overall, though, I think the movie is worth watching, especially if you're a Batman fan, as there is some good stuff beneath the surface, but I think it gets a lot of heat, unfortunately. So thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Disney Movie Investigation. Please leave a comment below on what you think of Batman and Robin. Is it the worst Batman movie ever? I don't know. Let me hear what you guys have to say. And so for our next episode, we finally get into the Christmas spirit as we take a look at a holiday favorite as we look at Ernest Saves Christmas. So until next time, I hope you have a magical day, and we will see you real soon.